We reached the time now where the consuming public now needs to drill down with the physician about why are you recommending that? What does that do to me? Tell me why you're saying that. I've heard this. Are we there? Welcome back to Inside Out. We've got a treat. Dr. Jeff is back in studio with us. And today, Jeff, we're going to talk about supplements.
I'm looking forward to this. This is a big, wide topic. There's a lot we could probably touch on, but I'll let you drive and let's see where we go.
Great. Welcome back. First of all, I feel weird calling you Jeff. I view you as Dr. Jeff, so we'll stay with that. Let me say this. We've all been to a GNC. We've all been to a Vitamin World. These things are part of our lexicon today. They're certainly part of our we know where the dry cleaners is. We know where the GNC is. It's next to our supermarkets. Even in our supermarkets, we have aisles dedicated to these things. What I'd like to do is talk about a couple of key things. I want to get into which supplements are effective and not necessarily a brand, but which ones should we be taking, which ones are not effective. And we may make some enemies out there, but that's okay. This show's about getting to the truth about this kind of stuff.
Right.
And then I want to back up a little bit and talk about COVID and some of the stuff that was recommended to us, aside from the vaccines. We're not going to get into vaccines and the conspiracies around vaccines, but I do want to talk about the supplements we were guided to take and how those affect us. So let's start with the word bioavailability. Tell me what that means and why it matters as it relates to supplements.
Great. So this is biochemistry 101 here. And what we're talking about is how much of a substance you take, a capsule or a liquid form of something you take, actually gets into your body and into your cells to do what you seek the benefit from. So you could take some forms and only get a very small percentage of it into where it needs to go. Right.
For instance, this is always the part that scares me, and I think it's because we read things that may not be backed by science. When I have a cabinet that's dedicated to supplements, okay? When you open up this cabinet, it's like, God, and every time I take them, I'm thinking, man, am I wasting money, time, and my stomach biome with this stuff? I'm going to give you a list of the things I take, and I want you to walk me through what's bioavailable and whether I should be taking these things or not, okay? NMN, I'm going to give you a couple. I take NMN, and I take it at night. I take zinc, magnesium, and amino acids in a supplement called ZMA. And then I take at night, I take zinc, and I take resveratrol, I hope I'm saying that right, and melatonin. These are the ones I take as a regimen nightly, not in the morning, but at night. So. And I'll remind you if that list was too long. But let's get into that. Which one of those, am I wasting my money and time taking these?
Probably not. But we really don't know the bioavailability until we look at the label on the product and sometimes go a little deeper and look on their website for any white papers where they've studied the bioavailability. For example, I take curcumin. Which is from the turmeric root. It's highly anti-inflammatory. It's the base of Ayurvedic medicine from India. And of course, the overarching theme is to slow and suppress inflammation, to slow and suppress aging and disease formation.
It's a capsule?
Well, the reason I mention it is it can come in a capsule. It could also come in different kinds of capsules. It could also come in a liposomal form. But what's that? That means it is encapsulated by a lipid membrane, lipid being a fat membrane.
A gel?
Not necessarily, but it could be, it's more of an emulsion liquid, so it's like a milky liquid perhaps. And that would be a liposomal, but you could actually dry that and put it into a capsule also.
Are these coming out of a bottle for you when you're taking this?
Yeah, a capsule that comes from a bottle. But they also have liquid forms. You can see these ads on TV, right? Some vitamins are liquid because they absorb better, and they may.
They may not.
They may not. So, how do you know? you got to see if the what's on the label, and you got to see how they studied it. So a lot of these to make claims like we absorb better have to have a scientific study of it, and they have to make that available. Otherwise, as a supplement, the FDA wouldn't allow them to make that claim.
Okay, so if a supplement company, and supplements are regulated loosely as I understand it, so if they make a claim, that means they have been studied and approved to make that claim, or they'll be out of business.
Well, I don't know if they'll be out of business, but they're subject to legal fees and
legal
non-compliance issues, right?
So okay, so bioavailability on the supplement you're taking, what's good bioavailability? 80%? I mean, what's good?
I mean, you want to get as much as you can. It depends on what it is too, right? So let's talk about NMN for a minute.
Yeah, okay.
Because we're learning about bioavailability by example here.
Right.
So NMN is for your mitochondria. You talk about mitochondrial health. That's an organelle within your cells.
Right.
And in
That's the engine of muscle
in high school
building.
biology, you learn it's the powerhouse of the cell. It makes the energy, but it does a lot more. It's almost a cell within a cell. And if you take care of those guys, your cells are happy, and then your body's happy.
Okay.
So NMN is one way you can support those, because these molecules, the nicotide molecules, are part of the cycle of the metabolism and the chemistry, what's going on inside of a mitochondria, and they need the raw ingredients.
Okay.
There are multiple ways to get those raw ingredients. There are multiple B vitamins.
Okay.
There are nicotide riboside. You could take urolithin A. There are a bunch of ways.
Can I get it in my food?
Listen, if we were eating
from the tree.
earth, from the tree,
from the
organic,
plant.
natural, and a diverse diet with healthy microbiome, we probably wouldn't need as much of this stuff.
Okay.
But we're not. We're eating a watered down,
processed,
bleached out, processed diet, and even the natural foods we do eat have been exposed potentially to pesticides and other things in the water source and what have you.
Robbing them of these important supplements.
Leaching them out. So we need them because there is a gap in our cellular nutrition, and that's what supplements are all about.
Why are we just now hearing about NMN specifically? I do not recall hearing about that until recently.
So it's been around. Different forms of mitochondrial support have been around. This isn't new. It's just got a resurgence because David Sinclair in Boston has brought it to life. Of course, they were trying to bring it to market and monetize it more. There for a minute there we thought there was going to be a run on it because they were going to restrict it.
FDA restrict it.
Well, someone was going to compel its restriction. And, you got to follow the money trail on that and see why that is. But nonetheless, a lot of this stuff comes from nature, and you can get it from nature.
Okay. What is, sorry to interrupt you, Doc, but what is NAD and how does it relate to NMN?
They're all in the same pathway. They are. So NAD, and you can get an NAD IV drip, but it takes 3 or 4 hours to do it right.
Okay.
And these are for your mitochondrial health. And it can help throughout the body. It can help with muscle mass.
What would I feel if I took the proper amount of NMN or NAD? How would I know this stuff's working?
You might not. And
I may not.
And you gotta take this with a grain of salt, because good supplementation is a little bit like religion. You believe in it, and you take it just in case.
Okay, just in case the plan is the way we've heard it to be.
It's a little like that. But if you don't have it, I guarantee you could be missing something.
Got it.
So,
Interesting.
I supplement. I have a lot of supplement naive people. That doesn't mean they don't know stuff. It means they don't take them.
Yeah.
And we start them with an easy plan. I start them on some basic anti-inflammatory supplements.
Okay.
And then we build on that. And if they're comfortable with it and they got it down, because it's work.
Yeah.
I sit every weekend, I pull out my cabinet of curiosities.
Yes.
And I make up these little Ziploc baggies for myself and my wife. I make 7 of them for each of us, and we have some slightly different things.
So that's each day. You've got stuff in these little baggies.
Right. And
what's in your bag?
Good question. So I'm going all out though, right? So I do the daytime bag because I don't like to take morning.
We've got 2 bags?
Well, we do nighttime and daytime, and she's got some morning stuff. I don't do well in the morning stuff, so I'm not taking it.
Okay.
I intermittent feed / intermittent fast.
Yeah.
So I don't like supplements on an empty stomach.
Got it.
I'll be unhappy.
So you take it after the food.
I take it after. So when I have my first meal, which is a lunch meal.
Okay.
But since you're breaking a fast, you could call it breakfast if you want.
Sure.
It's lunch fest.
It's your first meal.
Right.
Right.
So that's usually right after that with a full stomach. I take.
You're opening the
supplements.
Ziploc. What's in that bag?
All right. So I take at least 2 grams of fish oil or some good high quality. This is one that has a lot of variability.
I got it.
Omega-3 supplement. It can be fish oil based. It can be krill oil.
How do I know if it's high quality?
Well, you gotta look at the consumer reviews on these things and the bioavailability, and look at the reputable brand.
I need to be looking on the internet about this.
And if it smells rancid, it's probably gone bad.
Okay.
Right, with fish oil, because that can happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
fish oil's in there.
A good high quality omega-3 / fish oil, and I like people. I have patients taking 6 grams of it because it outcompetes some of the other bad fats. It is highly anti-inflammatory. It gives us certain fats we do not make as humans, but we need. Our brain needs them. Our myelin sheaths along our nerves need them.
Sure.
We need this Plus, they can be broken down into MCTs, medium chain triglycerides, and those can help you feel full. So you got to look at your coconut oils, your olive oils, your avocado oils, things like that. All those things can play together.
So that's one of the pills in the bag.
Well, it's more than one, because to take that amount, I like the little ones, so I take 4 of them sometimes. I take a curcumin, and I take a liposomal curcumin, even though it's dry in a capsule. And I take urolithin A, which is another mitochondrial support. I take nucleotide riboside. So I don't take NMN. I have some NMN powder I've used over the years, but I'm taking so much from my mitochondria. If they're not happy, then they're never going to be happy. I also take, I'm on and off zinc. There are mixed reviews on how much zinc.
I find my stomach struggles with zinc.
So too much zinc is not good for you, but you need some for biological processes. I do take magnesium, but that's at bedtime, so we'll come back to that. I take a quercetin, Quer, quercetin, right?
Yep.
I take spermidine.
Okay, what is that?
I take berberine. Spermidine is from the wheat germ kernel. And
what's it doing for you?
It has. You caught me off guard, but I've done the deep dive on this, and it is a cellular process, and it's often missed. So it's something. It's anti-inflammatory, anti-aging.
Got it.
Berberine is sort of like a natural metformin. So
that's a new one I've seen. Berberine.
It's only new because of the resurgence in its interest along the idea of longevity based upon suppressing your glucose, improving your insulin sensitivity.
Got it.
We've talked previously about GLP-1s and blood sugar and metformin. You can do that. But berberine,
that's a prescription metformin.
It is, even though it's plant-derived mostly. Berberine is sort of
it's available over the counter.
Yeah, totally.
Would you consider them changeable?
Not necessarily. Metformin as a pure product is probably more effective than berberine. But
how many milligrams of metformin?
You could take 1,000 milligrams twice a day, but you got to get used to it because it can cause bloating and stomach upset.
Got it. Gastro issues.
An adult would probably take 1,000 twice a day. You could take 500. You could take it strategically. You're like, the kids want pizza night. I better take metformin about an hour before.
Interesting. And it's going to help regulate the uptick of that food in your system.
Of the carbs, of the sugar in your system.
Oh, interesting. So if I know I'm going to have a carb night, I'm at an Italian restaurant, taking metformin an hour ahead of that would be useful.
Yep. It's a strategic biohack for carbs.
Let's get into that for just a second.
Yeah.
So I take metformin. We're going to go to Italian food tonight. I take it an hour ahead. What's it doing inside me that's prepping it for the pasta? What's happening?
It's at the cellular level. It's cross-talking with your insulin glucagon responses, so that your cells don't need as much, or they think they don't need as much sugar. So they're
not going to pump sugar into my system.
You'll have a more significant insulin response. You'll be more sensitive, and then your glucagon will kick in well
to make me feel full quicker. What's the glucagon?
You will feel full quicker on metformin.
For sure.
For sure. But yes, but also just biochemically speaking, the sugars will not be driven into your cell as much. So if it's pasta. Now, really healthy, good pasta from Tuscany or whatever,
sure,
it's not as bad as the stuff we get here.
Olive Garden. Yeah.
Right. The endless breadsticks. That's killing it. So if you're going to go to endless breadstick night, try the metformin first.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a great tip.
Yeah. I have a cardiologist friend who I'll tip my hat to here, Patrick. He's not big on statins because statins are questionable medication. They have side effects.
He's got metformin in his glove box?
He'll take a statin if he's going to go out to a steakhouse.
Wow. Okay.
So I've never done it.
The doctors are doing.
This is what
interesting.
Cutting edge.
They've got it in the armrest.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. So back to NMA and NAD. You're saying these are in the same family? If I'm taking one, I don't need the other?
Not necessarily. Now, there are variabilities in the metabolism of that cycle of the nicotide
So I should
molecule.
rotate it if I have both?
Not necessarily. Some person might respond differently to one than the other due to genetic variation. Some people study the genetic variation of metabolism of B vitamins, and the MTHFR gene. And the 10X Health is doing that. There are genetic tests. You swab the cheek, you send it in, and they say, you need this vitamin, not this one.
Very specific.
And
customization.
You can do that. You can learn more about yourself. You can do organic acids tests. You can do Dutch tests, which are mostly the functional doctors are great at ordering, the naturopaths are ordering. Unfortunately, that's not taught in medical school, so I had to go back and learn that.
Got it. And you almost learn it clinically in practice. All right, so maybe, and I know this could be uncomfortable for a doctor, but tell me which supplements are really a waste of money. We shouldn't be buying them. We shouldn't be taking them. They're really not effective, but they're sold and we think they are, and they're very popular, and we've just been taking them because we told we should.
I don't know that there's any one supplement that I would point to, but if someone tells you this is all you need, this is the cure-all supplement, then they're probably wrong. If it costs $3 at the store, it's probably not a good form of it.
Is that because that's cheap? Is that why you say $3?
It is. I mean, you do what you pay. You get what you pay for here. And
so good supplements are expensive.
They are.
Got it.
And why? Because they paid for testing.
Yeah.
And they know it's bioavailable, and they check the purity, and the capsules are made of vegetable base and not a gelatin base. I always worry that I'm probably getting a very high dose of vegetable capsule every day.
Right.
Some people
the wrapper.
Some people now Some people now have like the vitamins in a rip pack.
Pull them out,
and you it's just the powder. It's not the capsule, and you put it in a drink every morning.
Stir it.
Brian Johnson now has this drinkable nutrient mix. His supplement, his Blueprint supplement.
Okay.
Nod to him. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, I like the sound of that.
So you don't have to take capsules. You can drink it. Things like that. I'm not big on these transdermal, which means from the skin. Some people make a skin patch. There are companies, multi-level marketing.
We just can't get deep enough. Is that why the skin's no good?
It's just hard to get through. Skin is such an amazing barrier. It's hard to get stuff through there.
Right. Okay, let's get into the sleep supplements.
Yes.
Magnesium, melatonin, these are the ones I'm familiar with, and I'm sure there's many more. Tell me the list of the ones I should be thinking about for proper sleep, and then why magnesium specifically and melatonin are effective.
Right. Well, let's start with melatonin.
Okay.
Melatonin is a peptide hormone in our body made by the pineal gland, which is in the sort of the back third of the brain. The pineal gland starts to fizzle out and calcify, harden, shrivel and harden, like an old raisin after puberty.
Part of my brain.
It's a gland within the brain. It's not a thinking part of the brain. It's a hormone releasing part of the brain.
But it becomes non-effective?
It becomes incredibly ineffective if it's doing
aging.
anything.
It's aging rapidly after puberty.
Rapidly. So the idea here, teleologically, if I could throw out that funny word, why have we evolved with that? Is the idea is during pubescence, in your very, very young adulthood, you have the highest chance of creating offspring and protecting them.
Okay.
So think about a caveman,
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And the older you get, you're less effective at making them and less effective at taking care of them. Now, modern society has shifted that, right? So the problem is part of optimal health and staying as young as possible and fighting inflammation is proper restorative sleep.
Okay.
And who sleeps like a freaking zombie but teenagers?
They sleep.
Because they
sleep
secrete
deeply.
melatonin and they go to bed and you try to come in and wake them up in the morning.
It's hard.
Yeah,
right. They're deeply involved in sleep.
5 more minutes, Mom.
Right.
Yeah, and they'll go back to sleep for hours.
Right.
Okay. So
you almost have to wake them.
They have to bring them out of the bear has to come out of hibernation.
Right.
And so what happens is during the day you wake up, the sunlight hits your retina, and you secrete cortisol from your adrenal glands, the stress hormone.
Okay.
And you are awake to fight the day.
It's preparing you for battle.
For stress.
Yeah. To
It's
endure
stress
stress.
Right.
Wow.
So how do you turn that off? Well, the antidote is melatonin.
Interesting.
And one of the reasons there's so much anxiety in the world and people aren't sleeping well and all that is because cortisol is going up because of all the stress, but there's no antidote. There's no melatonin at night. So
is that because of the gland you talked about?
The gland's
is
not making it
functioning.
So it's amazing. You can take melatonin at night. You're taking a hormone, and you will notice, and people think, well, melatonin, that's just to help you go to sleep. Well, it can, but it can also help you sleep deeper and more restoratively. And I take 12 milligrams, which is is
that a lot?
It's the biggest dose I've seen that you can buy.
Okay.
I take 12 milligrams. I have no problem falling asleep.
Okay.
I could take a nap right here on this table.
Like 10 to 12 minutes, you're down?
I'm probably before that.
Okay.
But that's not the benefit I notice.
Okay.
I notice that I sleep deeper, and I do have an app on my phone where listens to me sleep, and I dream. And I dream deeper and more often and more frequently. And
dreams you remember?
Some yes, some no. But if you're dreaming, you're in REM sleep. You're getting the deeper sleep waves. So I know my cells in my brain and in my body are going into that restorative mode. Your cells do their repair at night.
Right.
Okay.
Plants
do
sleep.
this.
You have to
Plants have a light phase and a dark phase.
Right.
They do different biochemical things in the day. They do photosynthesis in the day, which is stressful. Just like us. We eat during the day. We're not supposed to eat at night. So a fasted sleep with melatonin is a wonderful health and longevity hack.
Interesting.
So, people take 3 or 5 milligrams. Let it dissolve because it's usually a pill, not a capsule. It breaks away. Right. And because you want it to, it's a peptide hormone. You want it to get into your system.
Do I need it under my tongue?
You can I just swish it around, whatever. Just let it dissolve. Don't chew it and swallow it.
Got it.
Okay.
Let it get in there.
So try that.
Okay. Question about this. I'd never known this about the gland that used to produce this naturally.
Right.
Am I bypassing that, or am I activating the gland to release more?
You're bypassing it. The gland's done.
The gland's done.
It's done. It may make a little bit. And there are some advocates say you should cycle on and off melatonin. If you needed the replacement in the first place, there's no cycling on and off. Your gland is done. It's cooked.
Is there a way to test the gland? Can we know if yours is good, mine's bad?
It's possible there's a way to do a melatonin level. No one does it because it makes no sense, and it's probably
But is this gland only doing that? Is its purpose only for nighttime getting me to sleep properly? Interesting.
It probably has more biochemical functions. It's been a minute since I looked at it.
Has evolution moved us away from this gland?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because of our urban living.
Well, I would imagine it's before that. It's again, we're not designed to live to be 120, even though we're all trying.
We're trying, yeah.
You're supposed to have, the younger you have your kids, and I think about it. A few hundred years back, you got married when you were 15, and you had 10 or 12 kids, and then
25, they're headed to college.
And then, then if you made it to 50, you were old.
Right. People died at 50.
So what we're doing now is evolution was already done with what it was doing with the gland.
Yeah.
But we need to do something for ourselves so we can have a high quality life and health in our older years.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you can do at nighttime.
Melatonin is a hack. You love it. You love melatonin.
Love. Even if you fall asleep well, add melatonin. Try it out. See if you sleep well.
And you like 12 milligrams.
Well, I start out at 3 or 5 or 10 or whatever.
All right.
I do 12 because I could buy a 12, and I just happen to like this one. So.
Got it. Okay. Now talk magnesium. How is that helping us?
All cellular processes require magnesium, and especially at night.
All cellular processes. So I'm probably deficient of magnesium if measured.
We probably, well, let's talk about that. If you get a blood test, a standard blood test called a chemistry 7 or a basic chemistry panel, magnesium is on there, and it'll probably register normal. Very few people are outside of normal.
Is that because the range is so broad?
Yes, in part.
Yes.
And because by the time it's in your blood, you're not really measuring what's in your cells.
Got it. So it's not even a good measurement of whether it's effective.
It may not be. And this is true for so many labs. But if you're amazingly low
in the blood,
you do replace it. And the symptom for amazingly low magnesium
what is that?
And I'll never forget this. I saw it when I was in medical school in the emergency room. Someone came in, it was a worker, and his hands were all cramped up like this. He couldn't unlock them. And we did blood tests. His magnesium was incredibly low. We gave him milk of magnesia because it was the ER doctor said it's available. And then over an hour in his hand, he could loosen them up.
Whoa.
So it's called tetany.
Okay.
And there's a disease you've heard called of tetanus.
Sure.
Which depletes the magnesium out of your cells.
Interesting. So that disease, tetanitis or whatever, tetanus.
The disease tetanus is an infection from Clostridium
that takes
infection.
Magnesium. It leaches magnesium from the body.
From the cells. So, and your muscle cells are highly dependent on it.
So if I'm a workout guy, I need more magnesium.
You might. Because you lose some in the sweat and stuff, and you hopefully you get it in your electrolyte drinks and in your protein-based foods. And
is there a magnesium form that should be consumed?
But let me finish one item first. If we had 12 to 14 servings of leafy green vegetables a day, you probably wouldn't need magnesium supplementation.
It's in the leafy green vegetables.
That's the main source.
It's in the salads.
Yeah. But no. Because the iceberg lettuce salads is really just kind of
texture.
It's minimally, nutrient dense.
So when I order the iceberg salad,
get the spinach.
Got it. Okay.
Get the kale. Get the spinach.
And if I'm not going to do that, I need a magnesium supplement.
Yeah, and let's talk about form. So multiform.
Okay.
Right. The glycinate, the different forms of magnesium are all used differently in your body. So at night, I take something called Trimag, which has 3 different forms, and it's a capsule, and that's part of my nighttime regimen because it helps your cellular repair processes at night. Yeah, you could take one in the daytime. It can. Some people say it makes them a little sleepy. I've had people tell me ibuprofen makes them sleepy. Nothing makes me sleepy.
I got you. Is it a pill, is it a pill, Jeff, or are you taking a powder?
You can do they have a capsule and they have pressed pills. They're all the same, right? It's a powder that how you take in it.
Got it.
The pressed pill is probably going to dissolve slower and be less bioavailable than a capsule. And then something you dissolve in a drink is probably going to be more bioavailable because it's already dissolved.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had sent to me because I saw a commercial, I think it was on social media. I want to say the product's called MAG, but it's a magnesium powder that you put in your water and you drink before you go to bed. And it's flavored.
Yeah.
And it tastes fantastic. And
sounds good to me.
And you're thinking, you named 3 different types of magnesium. Are you just trying to make sure you hit all the buttons there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am. So I would take Trimag has 3 different forms, and
you don't know that those 3 forms matter. You're just trying to hit all the buttons.
I've actually read on this.
Okay.
And the 3 different forms matter in different ways.
Got it.
It's been a minute since I looked this up because this is such a broad field.
Yes.
I'd have to come with a binder of information and look up every answer, and that doesn't make for a good conversation, right?
No.
So take a multiform. Take a 3. It has 3 different forms in it, and these are the most common preps out there. It's easy to find. Yeah.
So magnesium's readily available in these different forms.
Totally.
Got it. Okay. Anything else I should be taking for nighttime supplement?
I take another round of my omega-3 fish oils.
Okay. Wow.
I take them
You're loaded
the day.
up on fish oil.
I could probably benefit from more.
Wow. You know what? I quit taking fish oil. I was told it makes you bleed more. It creates.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a surgeon, right?
Yes.
Trying not to do surgery.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
So we used to tell the surgery patients, stop your omega-3s a week or two before surgery.
Yes.
But then I want to right back on it for the health benefits. So it's true you could have a slight nudge toward that. Yeah.
Could bleed longer.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's okay.
But the benefits are essential.
Listen, are you at risk of bleeding? Probably not.
Not in studio. No. No.
If as we get older, we are more likely to have a blood clot.
Right.
Or an embolus forming a coronary artery, go up to our brain and have a stroke.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a little on the bleedy side than the clotty side.
That makes sense. It makes sense. Thinner blood is safer than thicker blood.
Right.
Yeah, that's why people go donate blood, is to get it a little thinner.
Right.
Yeah, okay. That's making sense. All right. Anything else about nighttime? Because I'm going to shift subjects if we're done with the nighttime.
Well, I take a probiotic in the daytime. I sometimes take it at nighttime, depending on how things are moving. Okay. So I'm a big fan of probiotics. We're probably understating.
For digestive purposes?
Everything. Not only digestive, but our uninvited guests in our microbiome in our gut, the bacteria that live there.
Yes.
Are so important to helping us digest phytonutrients and some of these supplements, and they actually produce even smaller peptides and things that we don't make that we need.
Okay.
And if you have the wrong mix and you're not feeding them well, or you're hurting them with too many artificial sweeteners and things, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And we need those for the optimal health to suppress inflammation, slow aging, and live long and healthy.
All right. So not a prebiotic, a probiotic. And what's the difference between pre and pro?
So a prebiotic would be more like biotic food, like fiber. They love fiber. Okay. Because we can't break down fiber, right? Fiber being cellulose and celery or something like that.
Okay.
These are these very, very complex, they're so complex carbohydrates, even we can't break them down.
Okay.
Well, guess what? Some of the microbes can.
Okay.
And they help move things through. And you want to pass food through your system as quick as possible.
Yeah, quickly.
You want to have a quick transit time because otherwise you pull out the good stuff and you're left with the bad stuff.
Yeah,
and you want to get those toxins out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. I've got a supplement that I've taken almost every day that it was available to me since I was a teenager. Creatine.
Yep.
Tell me about creatine and what it does to the body, and should I still be taking it?
You should be taking creatine, but as a supplement, let's be frank about it. It's an amino acid, and we're branching into the area of protein supplementation and amino acids, which is probably akin to, but not exactly on the nutrient supplement side.
Okay.
This is about the ideal proteins and the ideal amino acid balances, and the special branch chains and the essential ones and things like that. So creatine is creatine monohydrate, for example.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful protein amino acid supplement. It's pro-metabolism. Muscles love it. So if you want to put on your muscle,
they feed it.
Yeah,
they feed
that's
off
a
of
great one. You should add that to your diet. And maybe someday we'll do an episode just on
creatine,
on amino acids.
Oh, I got it.
Creatine being a bold one there.
Got it.
And the different kinds of amino acids, the essential ones, the basic ones, the ones we can make, the ones we can't make, some special ones that we don't even get.
Can I make creatine? In my body? Does my body produce creatine?
I don't think so, but don't hold me to that.
Okay.
I know I have a degree in biochemistry, but it's been a minute since I read.
I'm throwing odd questions at you.
Yeah.
But I've been told that creatine is the most studied supplement out there, and people have been taking it for 40 years, that this is a staple in the fitness world, that creatine it can't hurt you, and it's essential to staying fit and increasing muscle fiber.
As it relates to amino acids, that may be absolutely true. And it is, you're right, all bodybuilders and those wanting to
they're all taking
maintain muscle mass, which correlated with longevity.
Right.
I know about.
It's directly correlated to longevity.
The amount of muscle mass you maintain is directly correlated to longevity.
All-cause mortality.
All cause.
Yeah. Muscle. It's all about muscle.
Muscle mass, bone density.
And it's not even about fat. You could be totally fat. It's about the total muscle mass.
Correct.
Yeah, very important.
You shouldn't be fat, but because it has an inflammatory burden. But correct.
Muscle mass is the measurement.
If you had great muscle mass because you were busy carrying around fat and you're 90, It's fine. Good for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, muscle mass. Yeah,
It's better than being wasted away.
right. So creatine, you say stay with it.
Take it.
Now I'm taking 5 milligrams. Is that the right amount?
Probably not. You probably could benefit from more.
10.
I'll bring you back next time a better dose.
Oh, good.
Because I want to see what that is.
Okay.
But I can tell you this. It's very hard to take too much protein in this world.
Right.
You can take too much protein. It can be too much for your kidneys. 5 milligrams of creatine ain't going to cut it.
You're not going to get there. Now, interestingly, let's just protein for a second. Would you put protein in the supplement category?
No, I would say it's a nutrient. It's a macronutrient, right? Protein's a macronutrient.
Food replacement.
And how you get that protein, what's quality protein, is made up on the balance of the amino acids divided within that. So you can supplement your macronutrients.
Okay.
But I wouldn't call this like a vitamin / supplements necessarily.
Got it. Okay, let's talk protein for just a minute since we're on the subject. There's a debate which you can help us resolve here. Soy or whey, or even isolate.
Right.
Which one should we be consuming?
So of the milk proteins, you have casein and whey.
Okay.
Okay. And whey is the better one. Casein actually can be pro-cancer forming.
Oh, interesting.
Or pro-cancer supporting. I don't want to freak people out.
Right.
So it's the whey that you want. Whether
Whey
it's
protein.
Isolates. Yeah.
And that's the most common form out there.
Because it's easy to get, right? It's milk. It's abundant.
It's everywhere.
And then the other protein supplement you mentioned is soy. So soy is good and bad. It is probably not great for men because it's
estrogen producing.
It's estrogen producing.
That's what I'd heard. I thought that was a rumor. So it really does.
Producing, yeah.
Okay.
So
females would be fine with soy protein.
Probably, and it's okay to have some. The soy has some other nutrients in it that we need, and fermented soy is very good, right? We need our fermented foods.
Okay.
Our bacteria in our gut love that.
Okay.
Right. So I'm not saying no to soy, stay away from soy, but I don't think I would go out of my way to have a bunch of soy protein supplements or tofu for lunch.
Right. Okay. So now let's get into the whey protein. And let's talk about protein generally. They say, this is just, again, you can this rumor could be totally false, that for every pound of body weight, as a man, I should be taking that many grams of protein per day.
Yeah, lean body weight. So So what you calculate off the fat number. Now you don't
move the
don't
fat
have
number
much,
off.
Right. So let's say
150. Let's say 150.
You're 15%, body fat on a bad day.
Yep.
So you take your weight, 85% of that. That's the number of grams to maintain, especially at our age,
existing muscle.
Right. And remember, at our age, we are slowly losing it.
Yeah, it's a race.
So not only do we need to maintain it, we need to add to it if we can.
Right.
So you should probably go a little bit more if you're hitting the gym and you give your muscles a reason to drive that those amino acids into
the
muscles,
muscle fiber. Yeah.
Then I would go a little more than
higher. So the muscle loves the protein.
It's essential.
To build
it's an essential love. Yes.
It's an essential to heal the micro tears.
Think about meat. When you eat meat from an animal, it's their muscle that you're eating mostly.
Yeah.
Maybe marbled with some fat, but it's the muscle.
Right.
And what do you get from meat? Mostly protein.
Yeah.
So you want in your body, it's the same thing. Your muscle is made of mostly protein.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. When you think of supplements generally, I think back to this COVID period, right, where we were all in the house hiding from everybody with masks and everything, and I don't know if the FDA gave us this advice or where we got it, but we were told load up on vitamin D, load up on zinc, load up on resveratrol, and then we heard some other crazy stuff. But those are the three that seem to have stuck as valuable defense mechanisms. Is it just COVID for these things, or would it help me in a flu? If I had the flu and I'm at home.
More than that. So let's break these down. Let's start. Well, I never really finished my list, but I take a vitamin D3 K2 mix.
It's just in a Ziploc.
It's my daytime zippy bag. It's little tiny Ziplocs. Love them. I take 10,000 international units.
Okay.
So it's the only vitamin measured, well, maybe not the only one, but it's the main one measured by international units. Mostly it's milligrams or something.
Yeah, sure.
And some doctors say, well, you don't need that. Your D3 is normal on your blood test. No, that D3 number on your blood test is to prevent malnutrition, so you don't get rickets and your bones fall apart. You want to be optimal, not just normal.
So these blood tests that I'm having done by doctors, these standards, almost like the food pyramid, are tied to some old school way of thinking, unrelated to optimal health.
Some of them, yeah.
Okay, so I almost need this reviewed by someone like yourself.
Yeah, you should really, make sure that it's not. You don't just look at the results. Well, they're all green. They're on the green. I'm fine.
Right.
Because that may not be the whole story.
Right. It's definitely not the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So back to.
So vitamin D3, I take at least 10,000 international units a day. With the K2, it does better, which is vitamin K. That's the only vitamin that's a hormone.
Am I producing D without this supplement?
You produce vitamin D1 and 2.
Okay.
And the sun converts vitamin D2 to D3, the active form.
Okay.
But we have no idea how much vitamin D2 you have.
But yeah, right.
And the sun, although we need some sun, can be harmful if you have too much. So I don't rely on that. And you hear people say, "Oh, just go out in the sun." They're influencers on social media. "Oh, just go out in the sun, you get your vitamin." No, that's not enough. I wouldn't rely on that. By the way, vitamin D3 levels during COVID, if you ended up with cytokine storm in the ICU, intubated, sick, grave situation.
Yeah.
If you had been supplementing with vitamin D3 beforehand, you had a statistically significant higher chance of surviving and leaving the ICU.
Wow.
So also vitamin D3 correlates with reduced all-cause mortality, all causes, lower cancer, lower heart disease, lower everything.
This has got to be in the Ziploc.
Why are you not taking it?
Okay, this has got to be
Give me any reason.
All right.
So come at me, bro. Why are you not taking it?
You got to have the vitamin D3.
Thank you. 10,000 I use a day.
All right, what else is in the Ziploc?
Okay, so that correlates with your list here.
Yeah.
Vitamin C.
Okay.
Okay, so vitamin C.
And we all grew up taking this.
We did, but we took a little bit.
Yeah, we took orange juice.
You took 500 milligrams in your Flintstone.
Orange juice does it.
And it does.
Okay.
But, I take probably 6 to 12 grams a day.
Okay.
So, by the way, there are cancer-preventing protocols with high-dose vitamin C.
Okay.
Ask Linus Pauling, award-winning biochemist who was a contemporary of Watson and Crick, who figured out the DNA strand, double strand. So he was known for.
There's a correlation between cancer and a lack of vitamin C,
or vice versa. That your body heals better and fights cancer and prevents cancer when you have a higher dose of vitamin C.
Wow.
So these are correlative; they're not necessarily causative.
Okay.
Right. But so I actually like the chewables. Why? Because I intermittent fast, and if I'm getting a little hungry too early, I'll just take a handful of vitamin C candies. Now, they're not candy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And stay away, for goodness sake, stay away from the gummies. All the junk you're getting in these gummy vitamins are just too much gunk in your system.
Okay.
Yeah, and too much, often very highly sweetened.
We see gummies in everything.
They've got the fruit syrup sweetenings, and they're highly carb.
So if your vitamins are coming in a Sour Patch form, that may not be best.
I'm surprised Nerds hasn't put out a vitamin.
Right.
But so back to vitamin C. Don't be afraid. You can
load up.
Yeah, and people say, "Oh, it's just expensive urine."
Can I
Great.
tell?
The more expensive your urine, the healthier you probably are.
Can I tell in my urine if I've overloaded on vitamin C?
Yeah, it might be more fluorescent.
It's
B
more
and C
orange. Yeah, got it. Okay, so what else is in the Ziploc?
I take a really high quality multivitamin. It has all kinds of minerals and stuff you wouldn't get otherwise.
Okay.
It's got all the B complex vitamins and what have you. But going back to your COVID list, you said vitamin D.
Resveratrol.
So resveratrol is a well-known sirtuin activator. Sirtuin, SIRTUIN, is a set of genes in your body that deal with longevity. They when they were first studying the worms and how to make the worms live longer. Why worms? Because they have a short lifespan. And it's easy to tell if one lives twice as long as their neighbor.
Sure.
So they've isolated the sirtuin genes and found that was activated. Certain, like sirtuin 6 was activated when they take resveratrol.
Wow.
So resveratrol is found in like red grapes, things like that.
Okay.
And
why was it a part of the protocol for COVID?
That I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know that.
But it became an essential part of the recipe.
I don't know why. I would say vitamin D
And zinc.
And ivermectin, and we can talk about all kinds of meds out there that
right.
And now, by the way, if this is off topic, but if you follow the latest news, mebendazole and ivermectin, which were some COVID meds, are known to work against parasites, are now found to be anti-cancer. And so many people have linked these odd and hard to identify parasites with causing some forms of cancer.
Okay.
So if you or a loved one is suffering from that, look at other options in addition to whatever your oncologist is doing. Look at the ivermectin, look at the mebendazole, look at these things. Don't take no for an answer. Study.
Right.
Look at alternative options. High-dose vitamin C, IV, if you have cancer, absolutely. Add that to whatever. Freeze-dried berries. Go to Trader Joe's, get your freeze-dried berries, eat a package a day. There are protocols, look it up, for freeze-dried berries to fight cancer. The phytonutrients in fruits.
The berries.
Yeah, in the fruits.
Name the berries.
I think it was raspberry. The particular study I saw was raspberries. Yeah, blackberries, blueberries are incredible. Wild blueberries are
so almost
so
every berry that you can get at the farmer's market.
Probably.
You should consume it.
And the diversity of fruits and vegetables, right? The oddest fruits from far away.
Right.
Get some of those.
Right. Have we reached an era, Doc, where... See, I grew up in an era, and so did you, where you go to the doctor. You may not be in this case because you are a doctor, but I grew up where you go to the doctor and you sit there and just kind of listen as a student, and they tell you what to do, and you go home and do it, and you don't really ask any questions. Have we reached the time now where the consuming public now needs to drill down with the physician about why are you recommending that? What does that do to me? Tell me why you're saying that. I've heard this. Are we there?
There have always been people that have come into my office and asked me. I grew up like you, though. You respect authority, and they
you
say
just take it.
Right. So the best patient asks questions.
The best outcomes, perhaps.
Maybe. I mean, patients that ask questions are telling me either I didn't explain it well enough, or they've come up with they heard something or want to get it off their chest.
Yeah.
Every now and then, someone gives me a new idea, and it causes me to go look something up or rethink things. And I would not be doing some of the stem cell and regenerative medicine things I'm doing now
had patients not pushed you.
Had they not pushed me.
Wow. Yeah, talk about that as we get near the end of this episode. Tell me what you're doing today in practice, because we know you've done thousands of surgeries. You've done surgeries on both the brain, the spine, the back, lots of surgeries. And I happen to know firsthand, I have other doctors that I play golf with who consider you the foremost authority when it comes to surgery, the actual, and I may be using an amateur term here, but the actual communicating the outcome of the procedure and the future recommendations that other doctors rely upon after you're through with the patient. These doctors that I play golf with continue to rave about the reports they receive from you, the guidance they receive from you. So I just want to say that. I mean, we don't have you on here because we just happen to know each other. You're on here because you are excellent at what you do.
Well, I try to be. In medicine, that's the goal, right, is to be excellent for people's outcome and save one more person. And
tell us what you're doing in practice today.
Yeah. So I still see patients with neck and back problem. I mean, that's my
background,
my love, my background. I have a biomechanics fellowship in the spine, and I've helped people, 5% with surgery, 95% without surgery for most of my career. I added regenerative medicine as an idea of some patients kept saying, how about it? And I added it, and now I'm doing so many more things. I'm wearing my scrubs and my pajamas today because as I told you, when you said, hey, can you come over and we should talk today? I said, well, I'm going to be coming right from the surgery center. I'm doing injections today. So we did some regenerative injections. I did someone with a hip issue. I did a lady with a couple knee problems, and I'm doing backs and all kinds of things, and anti-aging and wellness, in addition to good old-fashioned, let's look at something a new way. I love second opinions. I love hard problems. I see a lot of people who have been treated elsewhere who just aren't given the time of day, or their doctor dismissed them like, oh, that's all I can do for you, or they were botched.
Or let's do another injection.
Right.
I hear that a lot.
There's a lot of that. And sometimes it could be the answer, but the goal here is to know all the options, and leave no stone unturned for someone who is seeking not to have surgery or not to have a knee replacement or not to have a back fusion or something like that.
Right. Right. I have a very close friend that I've discussed this with you. I'm sending him to you. He's been everywhere, and he's brilliant. He lives in southern Utah, and he's willing to come down and get guidance from you in this area. He needs regenerative medicine. And
we all do.
Yeah, for sure. And you're the best at it.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Another great episode.
I love being here anytime.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Jeff Gross. This is Inside Out. I'm your host, James Catledge. Thanks for being here.